I was the middle child out of, I have an older brother and a younger sister. Pretty much growing up for me was, I don't really know, I can't say if it was fun or not, but growing up with a West Indian background, our household was pretty strict. But I pretty much gravitated towards my dad because I was born on his birthday, so I was pretty much a birthday gift to him. We got beat a lot, because, once again, our household was strict. As I got older, I kind of noticed that my dad and my mom would argue all the time, but we would just hear it, we wouldn't physically see it. Until one day I seen my mom with a black eye, and she tried to hide it and cover it up. But me and my older brother kind of pretty much knew that my dad gave it to her. So it kind of gave me a distorted, idea of my father, and I started hating him. But I always kind of grew up thinking that, that whatever I seen in my household wasn't going to be my reality as I grew up. But out of all of us, me and my younger sibling and my older sibling, I was the one that repeated the cycle. Me growing up, I started getting involved in relationships that basically were tainted. Just basically getting involved with guys and allowing them to do pretty much whatever to me, and thinking that was a form of them saying that, they cared about me. Until I just eventually ended up getting caught up with, the drug dealer type of guys, to where the flashiness is what made me feel like, I was important. Now everybody look at me because I'm with, the hot guy. I'm with the guy that everybody's afraid of. And behind the scenes, I was getting my behind kicked, So that was like a cycle for me. I ended up getting pregnant at the age of 21 and having to basically raise my son by myself because my son's father kept going in and out of prison. I was the person that, held on to his gun and held on to his money and stuff like that. So at the day that I actually got caught up in my situation, I was supposed to be taking my boyfriend's gun to his mother's house. And me and the guy, my victim, me and the guy, we got into an argument. And in the same situation of me and him arguing, once it got physical, I pulled out the gun. Not really, expecting the situation to escalate because he knew me and he didn't know me to be violent, but it's always true to the saying, you never pull out a gun if you don't plan to use it. So one thing led to another, and me and him started fighting, and I ended up shooting him in the process, not really realizing that he was dead at the moment because I ended up panicking and leaving. And I didn't get arrested right away. I actually got taken into custody the next day, but because I wasn't identified as the person that committed the crime, nor did I go and divulge that it was me, I was released. I got arrested 11 months later. But during those 11 months, while I was out, basically trying to stay disassociated with what I had done, my son's father was like a main character that was holding that against me because he was the only person that I told what had happened when it happened. So he basically was like, all right, if you're not in the house when I tell you to be in the house, I'm going to call the cops on you. So I basically spent those 11 months trying to commit suicide. So when I did get arrested, it was like a relief. Instead of me understanding the fact that I could be going to prison for the rest of my life, it was like I felt like I was pretty much rescued. The relationship, just like any relationship in the beginning, everything was peaches and cream. And then it turned into, I guess he pretty much seen like my vulnerabilities and he uses his advantage and was like, you know what? I could get her to do basically anything I want her to do. And me not having no self-worth in myself, I pretty much allowed him to mold me and make me into the person that he wanted me to be, whether it be to go and sell drugs, whether it be to go out of state, because I knew at the end of the day, for me, the biggest fear that I had was the fear of the repercussions I would face if I didn't do what he wanted me to do. And a lot of times I did. I did face that. I faced the black eyes. I faced, my tooth. Look at my tooth. My tooth is crooked. I used to go visit him on Rikers Island, and even in front of the officers, he pulled my hair out on a visit. I got cut on the visit. above all else, I didn't really fear the consequences of my actions. What I feared more was if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, that, I had to suffer repercussions on that end when it came to him. So, it really wasn't a choice. At the end of the day, you always have a choice of what you're going to do in life. But for me, I chose the latter because at that time, I didn't see no way out. Growing up in a household where, seeing violence and associating violence with love, that was normal. So at the time, I felt like, all right, if I get my ass kicked, all right, at the end of the day, you turn around and say, I'm sorry, I love you, then that's what it is. You can't separate and say that this is a toxic relationship at the time. So